ingredients that we wouldn't ordinarily find in our own kitchens. Now, the problem with UPF is that it has been manufactured to taste amazing, and it creates issues in our gut flora. So we need to try and minimize the amount of UPF that we eat. Reason 2, because UPF, ultra processed food, disrupts the microbial balance in our gut, leading to inflammation. So this is an area of extremely active research. Our microbiome inside our gut, we've got microbiomes in many places. We've got microbiomes in our nose, for example, in our mouth, for example, but the microbiome in the gut is probably the most extensive. There are 9 billion microorganisms living down there, funguses and viruses and bacteria, and it's like a rainforest down there. In fact, they would see us as some kind of meat planet. Now, what UPF seems to do is it seems to create an imbalance in that microbial community, and some bacteria begin to gain a greater foothold. That then triggers our inflammation system. Our immune system starts fighting the bacteria that are getting out of their lane, that are beginning to reduce the diversity of bacteria, because UPF favors some bacteria over other bacteria. And that inflammation causes chemicals called cytokines to move around the blood. And inflammation can be felt all around the body, but cytokines cross the blood-brain barrier and can cause inflammation in the brain. Now, inflammation in the brain has lots of consequences, but one of them is called excitotoxicity, which is basically a neuron firing so much that it dies. So we need to try and reduce UPF, because by that circuitous route, the increase in inflammation can cause problems across the blood-brain barrier as cytokines cross the blood-brain barrier and cause inflammation in our brain. So we need to support our gut microbiota with prebiotic yogurts, kefir, and fermented foods like kimchi. They're all really good for managing the balance in our gut. Reason 3, because UPF, ultra processed food, is densely packed with calories and creates cravings. It's also extremely soft, so we're likely to eat more of it than we need, and it disrupts the way our body processes food, because it's not actually made of chemicals the body recognizes as food. So some of the basic ways the body and brain control appetite can be disrupted by UPF, and it's densely packed with calories, and it changes the wiring of the brain to make us crave that food and more of that food. So we eat food that is less processed and more natural for us. That's a much better solution, because it doesn't rewire the brain in terms of cravings, and it's not densely packed with calories. Reason 4, because UPF disrupts the natural cycle of hunger and satiation hormones, as it is not recognized by the body as food. So we've got this basic process of hunger and satiation controlled by 2 hormones. One's called ghrelin, one's called leptin. Ghrelin's produced by the stomach when we're hungry. Leptin's produced by adipose tissue, fatty tissue, when we're full. Now, because UPF isn't recognized by the body as food, that whole hormonal feedback loop is disrupted. So the solution to that is notice when we're full and stop eating rather than empty our plate or eat. And another way of managing that is to kind of eat from smaller bowls or plates to create the same effect. So that's the end of this well-being workout. Don't forget, you're living in an incredible human brain. The brain and the body together generate our mind. If we continue to do something repeatedly, we will begin to change our brain. Our brain and body make it easier for us to do the things that we repeatedly get our brain and body to do. That can be very positive habits, or unfortunately that can be negative experiences as well. So we need to manage our experiences. If we can manage those 4 psychosocial forces around our brain, we can support our brain to build the best mind possible. And if we change our brain, that changes our mind, which changes what's possible in our world. Welcome, Neuro Ninjas. So remember, our mission is to support everyone that we work with across the company, in schools, individuals and businesses, to become a Neuro Ninja. Neuro Ninjas use the incredible power of the human brain to apply insight into themselves. Brains are beautifully designed to look out into the world, to manage other people's behavior, to deal with complexity, to help us plan and achieve goals. They have also got the ability, human brains, to look at their own output and change it. And we are all changed every day by 4 psychosocial forces. And knowing that is insight. And insight we conceive of as a balloon, like a hot air balloon floating inside our thoughts. We are going to get lost to the firing patterns in our brain, but we can return to this insight balloon as a Neuro Ninja every day. And the best way to support living inside those insight circuits is ensuring that we've got very positive daily behaviors, that we are in good relationships that support and nurture us, that we've got a good relationship with ourselves, and that we've got positive goals that drive us forward. At any point, we're going to lose insight during the course of a day, and our mission as Neuro Ninjas is to return to insight, because that enables us to manage our brain from the top, in circuits at the top of the prefrontal cortex, and manage our lives more effectively rather than just react impulsively, looking after our mental health, looking after the people around us, and making decisions thoughtfully rather than just reactively. We're obviously all going to have moments when we are impulsive, but returning to the insight balloon is important. And alongside these videos, you can access the Neuro Ninja app from the middle of May 2024. You can access that app, and on there you can measure your well-being and your allostatic load. Welcome, Neuro Ninjas. This morning's well-being workout, focusing on helping you manage stress, is looking at why is ultra-processed food, UPF, so bad for me? First of all, UPF. What even is that? UPF is food that has been constructed in laboratories by extremely clever scientists out of food-like chemicals. They are made to taste amazing. So think of chocolate bars, crisps, any food that will sit on a shelf for a long period